Man, it is cold, but this is also extremely fun, so you kind of have to weigh your options. I don't talk a whole lot on these videos because I don't really know what to say as far as this bike goes. I guess it kind of shows what it can do for itself. It's a 250. At the end of the day, you have to remember it's a 250. When you ride bigger bikes like I do, it's easy to feel like this is underpowered. I put a 110 jet in it, and it really opened it up as far as the pull power. For hills in fifth gear, you can pretty well still pull up the hill, but you have full throttle, which is 250, so you end up full throttling it almost everywhere. It's a lot more comfortable to ride at 60 now with the 110 jet, and I'm about to take it over a real popular mountain out here where I live at, just to see what it can do. And that'll kind of be the give you a better idea how this thing does on the road up the mountain. It does great on gravel up the mountain, but your speeds aren't very high and you're between second and third gear. 90% of the time you're in third, going through mountain gravel roads. You only have to go down to first if you want to. So for the weight of the bike and the amount of torque that it produces, it pulls just fine. I really wished these guys would put a 110 jet in these from the factory, because this guy really changed its whole power band. It's actually, you can actually go longer on your revolutions, as opposed to before it felt like the top was going to blow off of it if you kept revving it any further. I don't have a RPM gauge, so I don't know how high it actually goes, but it's ridiculously higher with the 110 jet as opposed to the 88 that they put in this thing factory. The 88's just way too small. I had an old car laying around that had a bigger jet but didn't have a number on it. I would assume that it was a 98. It came off of a 250 four-wheeler, but it had about the same problem with it. At about 68, you started getting like a fuel cut almost, or just basically it was starving for fuel. Now it's really opened it up. I done the little airbox mod, but the Tao TBR7, its top of its airbox is a little bit different than the one on the Hawk. It's just got a divider with a casting that goes down to the filter that kind of forces a small area to be taken in. I cut all that out, the divider and that casting. So now it's got a lot more area where it can pull the air in. That was a pretty good grade there, and I was holding about 60 coming up the hill. That was full throttle. This thing's really impressed me, and a lot of it is the fun that you can have on it off-road. On-road, obviously, I'd rather be on the VTX or the Busa. But for $1,300 shipped to your front door, this guy is something that you really just don't want to pass up. If you like louder exhaust and you wanted to put exhaust on it or something like that, I really like the way that this one is now. It's not too loud, it's not too quiet. You can hear it. You can hear it all throughout the revolutions, takeoff, and then so forth. I think the Bashan, it's a little more quiet from what I understand. And but this one's not too loud. The exhaust on it's really not all that loud. It's just loud enough where if somebody didn't know you was there, they'd probably still run you over. But I kind of enjoy the quiet ride every now and again, and I plan on keeping this one quiet, or at least where it's at now. I wouldn't mind trying to get another 3 to 5 horsepower out of it, but it's one of those things where it's a single cylinder 250, so to an extent it's going to be really hard to get that kind of power out of it past what moving up to a 110 jet does. You might get a little more if you swapped your air filter to a higher flow and rejetted it again. You might be able to get that extra 3 horsepower out of it, and that may be what I do. But I don't really want to mess with the muffler too much or the exhaust too much, because I really enjoy how little sound this one has. And I spent most of my time out in the woods with it, so it, you know, generally out here guys are big on hunting and fishing, and you really don't want to aggravate people too bad when you're out in the woods. There's a lot of national forest out here. Real cold going up the mountain. Or coming up, I haven't downshifted out of 5th gear. I'm going to assume that my speedometer is about 5 miles an hour off. Most of them are within reason. Our Honda Rebel is about 3 miles off at 55, according to GPS, which can be off as well. And this one is real close. If we ride side by side at 55, they're almost identical, which isn't too bad if it can match the Honda's speedometer set. It's not too bad of a speedometer. Guy actually handles really good coming up through here. Can't even go this fast on my VTX because the peg's scrubbed. Now I'm starting, the incline's got a little higher, and I'm kind of rocking at about 54. Start to pick up now though. First got this, me and my wife come over this mountain together, 2 up, and we was having to shift between 4th and 3rd. But that was with the 88 jet instead of the 110. Have to watch out for bears up here when it warms up. They're real bad about just hanging out on the sides of the road. I'm not a real big fan of the axle bolts and nuts on these bikes because neither one is a castle nut with a Carter key. And that scares me, so I'm constantly looking at them. That's another little thing that it'd be nice if they would change, because even if the nut was to come loose, it don't really go anywhere. Oh, look, snow. I think we're on the downhill now. be some more aftermarket for these too, windshields, and it's hard to find fairings for these things on Amazon anyway. You can order, as far as I know, you can order all the parts off of Tao Direct or Tao Motors Direct, something like that. When I hit my brake, my rear brake cable mount on something out in the woods, that's where I ended up getting my brake line from, but it takes so long to get it, and it's stuff that you order on Amazon, you know, you generally get it in about a week at the longest. At least here I do. But when you order stuff from Tao Direct, it takes quite a bit longer to get it. I think it took 3 weeks. And when I was out in the woods, it's a place called Windy Gap, and it is some rough trails. I believe I know when I done it, I hit a big stick sticking up, and when I did, I didn't think nothing else about it. Kudos to the cable for holding up with being ripped from the frame. The cable itself then bent. It was able to go up and over, and it rode on my wheel for no telling how many miles before it finally rubbed a hole in it, which doesn't matter who makes the cable, that's going to happen when it's rubbing the side of a 50-50 tire.